Today I pretty much just want to talk about how expensive the world has been, just like with Gen Z and my generation, and how much we're struggling to buy a house. It's really hard to bring up to the older generations when it comes to struggling and when it comes to just trying to live a normal life. It seems like a lot of us have to work two jobs or do DoorDash or do something super creative that we're not really wanting to do. Like, to be honest, we just want to work like a 9 to 5 and be able to live like all of the older generations did, where we have two kids, a house, a stable basic job, that has like a 55-year pension. Like when you're 55, you're able to retire. Um, there's just no more like mom and pop shop places anymore, and there's no pensions, and businesses can't afford to do it anymore. So I wouldn't say it's impossible for my generation, and for you guys that don't know, I'm Generation Z. I'll be 25 this year, but just feels like it's harder than ever with how expensive houses are, and they're up to 300,000 in my area for the average house, and it almost feels impossible to even get something like a basic apartment. I mean, apartments here are 1,800 a month. And to put it in perspective, I live in Pennsylvania, and 18 an hour is considered a good wage here. That's considered like top 10%. And then if you make anywhere from 20 to 25, you're like top 5%, and then $30 an hour plus is top 1%. So even if you're top 1% here making, $30 an hour, that's in perspective like $50,000 a year take home. So if rent is 24,000 of that, that's pretty much like half of your take home income. So that's something to put into perspective. So even if you're in the top 1%, rent, and I don't even want to know what a mortgage would be, probably like 55, 60% of your $30 an hour income. So, yeah, things are looking really tough right now. Groceries are definitely the cheap part. I mean, I literally grab like eggs and potatoes for like potatoes are $5 a bag, and eggs, I go to the Mennonite store, they're like $1.25. So groceries definitely aren't the issue. It's the cost of living. And like I said, houses are 300,000 for a starter home here. Rent is on $1,800 a month on average, and if you're lucky, you make $2,500 a month take home here. So, and I know state to state, I mean, some states are cheaper, but then you got to remember they don't get paid as much, such as West Virginia. Their houses are like $200,000, but they get paid like $15 an hour for their high scale rate. I mean, I think you're lucky to make $20 an hour in West Virginia. So, yeah, like I said, it's not impossible. I know there's a way, but it's just way harder than it used to be. Like it doesn't like that simple 9 to 5 is not going to get you like near as far as just like 20 years ago. And to put it in perspective, rent and mortgages were 25 to 27% of the average income, and now it's 50 to 75, and somewhere in that bracket. So, you guys that have dreams and goals out there, I'm not being negative about this, go after it, but just I'm trying to spread awareness of where Gen Z and even early millennials are at right now. I mean, I'll be 25 and I can't even imagine getting married or having a house with how expensive things are. And I'm currently working at a gym. I'm trying to look for a second job right now because in my past, I used to be a truck driver and I used to work at warehouses, and I was making decent wages. I was making $20 an hour on average between all those jobs. And I was looking at the house prices and like rent and just the utilities you have to pay. And I'm like, even with that high, $23 an hour job, that's the most I made. And that was back in 2021. That's when inflation really just skyrocketed. But it's just crazy. Like even making top one, or for here, that was like top 5% wages. I couldn't even think about it having my own apartment. And back at the time when I was living with my ex, I had a hotel room that I was paying $1,000 a month for, and we're talking about a box. It's literally like a shoebox hotel room with a tiny bathroom attached to it, and I was just for that paying $1,000 a month. So yeah, and just to put an example, that was a top 5% job here, and all I could get was a hotel room, and I couldn't even think about an apartment or a house. So nowadays, it really takes two people working overtime and sacrificing 6 days of the week to get Sunday potentially at your apartment or your house, and even then, you're paying all that money to barely even be in the house. So you gotta ask yourself, like, what's worth it? And I get with kids, you got to do what you got to do to provide for them and stuff like that. But it's just so sad when you see people working 6 days a week. The wife and the husband, and they're only at home on Sunday to slightly enjoy it. And to be real, are they enjoying it on Sunday? Like knowing they have to both go into work the next day. They're pretty much playing catch up on the house if there's renovations or if stuff to do around the house like laundry, and you get the point. So I'm definitely this whole American dream topic is definitely forming into like seems like capitalism's taking a turn where it's like going really heavy. Um, there's no like balance. So, I see, and no country is perfect, but I see in Italy they take like 2 hour lunch breaks. Their businesses give their employees like big breaks, and they allow them to go home and like settle and calm the nerves and eat their meals and cook. And over here, you're pretty much have an unpaid half an hour and then a paid 15 minute, which is an absolute joke. But yeah, there's no balance. It's just like work, 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 and we all know retirement's not there anymore. I mean, the 401k is a joke if you're even able to put money into that, and the matches and all that aren't what they used to be. Um, and most of the time, people have to pull out. Including me. I put it into my own stock account because I don't want to be in money prison waiting till I'm 60 to actually be able to access that money. So yeah, it's just we're going down a path that it's very hard to win. Um, it's definitely just in a span of 20 years, like I was saying, it's just ridiculous how rent went from $600 a month to 1,800. So in 20 years, it tripled itself, and wages went up like what 1.25 like times what they were. So yeah, it's like inflation and all this is going in such a big incline, and the wages are like they're pretty much flatlining. So and it's getting harder for businesses too because they're getting taxed more. All their supplies cost more, and they're left with no choice but to keep in business. They got to screw people over. So yeah, it's just I see a very negative correlation coming here, especially the past 6 years now with COVID. So yeah, I don't really have an answer for it all, and I don't think you guys expect me to. I don't think anyone really has an answer. I know Jesus is honestly the only way, and that's what's been turning me to him because it's like there's no other solution, there's no other way out of it. I mean, the world's just gonna get worse, but I just figured I'd come on here and, let you guys know how I feel and see if you guys can relate. But yeah, it's crazy. It's just when you look back just even 6 years ago, how much cheaper things were, and yeah, I'm in disbelief. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to have a little conversation. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll try to be posting like 2 to 3 times a week here. So if you enjoy the comment, give me a subscribe, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna keep making videos. So peace out, guys, and thank you.